Welcome back, class. What we're looking at right now is a site plan. The title of this one is a site development plan at a scale of 1 to 200. The 1 to 200 scale basically means that for every millimetre that you measure on the drawing, that equates to 200 millimetres in real life. So say for example we looked at the 15240 here. To calculate the actual millimetres we would draw on the plan here, we would take the 15240 and divide it by 200. So we would get a measurement of 757620, 76.2 millimeters, and that would equate to, in real life, 15240. All of the plans tend to have a drawing on part of it. We have general notes somewhere else. Very important to read the notes because it provides a lot of information that's not detailed in the drawing. Here we've got provide and install a rainwater tank as required by ABSA. That's the Australian Building Sustainability Association. So it's either required by them or the council. It's selected by the client, so they could select steel, plastic, concrete, whatever they wanted. That rainwater tank is then connected to the water closets, being the toilets, laundry and external taps. We've got to note that it's a minimum 5,000 litres. Installation and construction to be in accordance with ABSA and BASIX. Okay, so BASIX is the Building Sustainability Index, and that report or specifications was prepared by Solar Smart of Swansea, so obviously they are consultants. We have a siltation control fence to the council's requirements, and that is this broken line down here right on the border and across the back near the sewer. And that's because the land is falling in this direction, and we can determine that from the contour lines. So we have just a touch over 28 metres above sea level here, 27.5, 27, 26, 25, 24, and that's actually 23 up the back there. So we've got around about 4.5 metres fall across around about 40 metres. So it's a sort of like 1 in 9, something like that. So it's a reasonably steep site. Okay, north is down to the bottom left-hand corner here. That would indicate, based on our last video, that the first bearing here would be around about 135 degrees. Remember that 0 is bearing north, so this east-west bearing, boundary here, would actually be around about 45 degrees east of north. And we continue around another 90, that would give us the 135. At this point here we go, the surveyor would point back to north and come right round 135 plus 90, so that's going to be 225 degrees. They do the same thing, add 90, 315 degrees to head back down to this point here. Add 90 again and you'd come back to 405 degrees. Okay, the drawing itself shows the outline of the house there. We've got the sewer running across the backyard. The stormwater here, that's these broken lines there. That's the little dash and a dot, and you can determine that from the notes over here. It's diagrammatic only. So typically you would have it running around both sides of the house, and in this case it runs to a water tank in the backyard. This is our 5,000 litre water tank, and the overflow from that runs into absorption trenches that I've sort of drawn in yellow there. And they are basically gravel-filled pits in the backyard that allow the water to soak away slowly. Okay, so we've got other information here. The trees to be retained during construction. There's a large tree in the backyard. There's a smaller tree down there. They're noted on the plans because people accidentally, on purpose, damage the trees, knock them over, and then because they really want to get rid of them. The council's all over that, and they will charge you, have a bond of about $10,000 per tree. We've got overall areas here for the various components of the building, the total development site, and then we've got a comparison of what allowable floor space ratios, site ratios, and we're comparing them to the actual floor space ratio and the actual site ratio. Okay, so it falls well within the requirements, site coverage or site ratio 0.6 to 1, and we were only using 0.28 to 1. Same thing with the floor space ratio. The site isn't subject to cut and fill that we would require for a slab on ground, and that's because we're using bearers and joist construction, and it's a suspended floor system, and we only need pad footings and strip footings. The lot number 23, deposited plan number 22531. Okay, normally we would have further descriptors to identify the land, and they would be volume and folio numbers. Anyway, they're not really required for the purposes of a site plan like this. That was only a legal description. The boundary has dimensions around it, 39,625, and that's the same on both sides. 15,240 at the rear, 15,240 at the front. However, we do not know whether or not these are right angles in the corners. That is something our surveyor will need to sort out for us. And after this, I think we will move on to the house plan itself. Interesting to note that we've got 9 drawings down here, and the drawing was done in May 2009, early May 2009, and the approval was the 29th of May 2009. Okay, onto the site plan.